Puerto Rican kid, bald head, loves snakes, loves Blizzy, Sergio Chacon.
Yeah. What up, Pa?
Peace. Welcome to the DBS podcast. It's your boy Sergio Chacon, aka Blizzy Chacon. That shit whack. I mean, it's always gonna be dirtbag shit podcast. The DBS podcast. Peace and welcome to the DBS podcast. It's your boy Sergio Chacon, Be Frank Network. We in the building. Sound Lounge Network. Sound Lounge Studios, rather. Mahogany wood floors. We're feeling good. It's the Chacon Show. And the DBS, that acronym lends itself to drugs, booze, sobriety. And that's what we're going to talk about this afternoon with my friend Joanne Mcfadden. How are you, my dear?
I'm good. How are you, Sergio?
I'm doing fantastically well. Thank you. McFadden, my best friend is named Mike McFadden, and his earlobes annoy the fuck out of me. May I see your ears?
Yes.
Those are no. Can you show the camera?
These are not McFadden earlobes?
Those are normal earlobes. I was worried that every McFadden that I would come across
would have weird earlobes.
Would have the earlobe that attaches to the face.
Does he have mental illness and addiction problems?
You know what? He may.
That's a McFadden trait. That's for sure. I can spot him like, oh.
Yeah, like that.
From the tribe.
He's the type of motherfucker that sees red rats.
Yes, absolutely.
Is that like an Irish term, red rats? All my Irish friends use that.
I never heard that, red rat.
I was seeing red rats.
Maybe they were hallucinating.
Maybe. Over the angel dust.
The angel
You ever messed with angel dust?
No, but I had a boyfriend that used to do angel dust, and that was interesting. He always smelled like burnt rubber, like a tire.
And you were like, Daddy, you smell like a mechanic.
Yeah, exactly. No job, but he smelled like a mechanic.
Angel dust is a weird drug.
Is it? Have you done it?
No, but I've had friends that did it, and they're always completely out of their mind. I wasn't that type of get high person that wanted to be completely out of my mind. It's like I wanted to be up and hyper. That's why I drink 50 cups of coffee a day.
Yes.
You
still.
know?
Okay.
You know, so I stood away from angel dust. I was scared of that.
Yeah.
But isn't that weird? Why would you want to smell like a pilot marker?
I don't know. I didn't stay away from a lot of drugs, but angel dust is one of those. Crack is another one. You know,
crack? Yeah.
You know.
Because the stigma that's attached to crack, too.
True.
It's like you think of crackhead, you think of like someone like...
Yeah, really fucked up. But you know what? I like downers. Downers was my thing. So I'm already an up person, so it kind of balanced me out.
Right.
You know, like opiates was my thing, but yeah.
What age would you say you started experimenting?
With drugs? Probably like 12, 13, like alcohol, like everybody else.
Likewise.
You know, you go to a party, everybody's drinking, you know. Yeah, for sure. And then my neighborhood was just like that. Like, you know, our parents were addicts, not mine, but most of my friends, they were big drinkers. And it was like an Irish Catholic culture that was perfectly acceptable for you to drink at home.
Yeah, that sounds very similar to my background. Mm-hmm. Everyone drank, everyone did drugs. It was like this part of the norm.
Super normal.
And how many years you have sober?
Years? I only have 100. I'm 131 days.
Oh, she's
today.
fresh. So you still on the pink cloud.
Dude, no, I don't know. Maybe. We'll see, right?
So 100 and how many days?
131.
130
so 4 months,
days.
So a little over 4 months.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a huge accomplishment.
It is. I feel good.
Yeah.
You know? Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, 4 months in, I was mad moody.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, the moody, you know, mad. Like, do you find yourself a little bit?
Well, I was just angry when I first got out. I was like kicking ATMs when they didn't work, like a lunatic in Target. Like, yo, what are you looking at? It's like,
and ATMs are mad sturdy.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do any damage to ATM.
And the guy came out. He's like, I'm like, with my $18 in my account, I'm like, these ATMs don't work. I'm pulling my money out of here. All 16 fucking dollars of it. How dare you, sir? Like, that's just very reactionary.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of evening out as time goes. I mean, I still react to shit. I've always been like a high-strung person.
You know, now that you say that, I remember feeling like that. Everything was like really, it would be spikes of highs and lows. So if I was in the bank kicking the ATM, I would have went over to the lollipop dispenser and taken the whole thing. But I'm taking
really?
this. Yeah.
Oh, you just escalate.
Yeah, I'm taking these lollipops from me if you're not going to give me my money.
Oh, you're taking all the TD banks?
Yeah, TD bank
kids,
lollipops.
No kids are getting any.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I get like that too. But you know, your moods, they're gonna go up and down. You know, you're not totally. So I just try to take it one day at a time. You know
Right.
what I mean?
That's all you can do.
Right. The world record for staying sober is 24 hours. That's what they say. Right? That's the world record. Doesn't matter what you did yesterday, just for today. So like, if I try to project and think too much ahead, it's not good for me. You know?
No, you gotta be in the now, and really appreciate it. What you have accomplished, and the 4 months is a huge fucking deal, and that's awesome. I'm trying to remember what it felt like for me 4 months, and I do remember sleeping a lot. Were you sleeping?
No, I don't sleep. That's the problem with opiates. Like when you withdraw from opiates too, is that your sleep is totally crazy because you've been sleeping a lot. You know what I mean?
I imagine you're sleeping like, you know, kind of like on the edge, right? Just kind of like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why it's called kicking, you know, because you kick in your sleep. You do things in your sleep. I mean, I went to rehab. I didn't volunteer. I wasn't like, oh, I have a problem. I need help. Like, I got caught. I'm a flight attendant. You guys know that. And they caught me on a DOT random urine. And so it was like, you go to rehab or you go to jail. But it was a blessing in disguise, you know?
For sure. And I commend your job for assisting you and giving the options, because I think quite often people just lose their jobs.
Sure.
And they're put on a blast, and it's you know, it's a humiliating thing where it shouldn't be that way. They should assist you because
absolutely,
you're not
it's a disease.
It's a disease. So props to that company, which we won't name,
right?
You know, for helping you out, and
the unionized
believing.
workforce.
Yeah.
You know, so they can't really do much if they wanted to. I'm sure they would love to replace me with a 22-year-old that's making half the money. So when they send you off, it's kind of like, good luck. Maybe you'll come back. Maybe you won't.
An annoying 22-year-old who's mad eager.
Yes. Like, yes, I'll help you.
Right. That's the hashtags, the company name, and every flight. And
yeah. That leaves. You know, everybody drinks that Kool-Aid in the beginning. I was like that too, you know, like.
Right. Yeah.
But, you know, that fades with all your jobs, I think. How did you get sober? Like, how long have you been sober?
But I've been sober about 6 to 8 years. I don't count days, but I would imagine like a new flight attendant would be, I'm a wanderer, I'm a world traveler, you know? Yeah. And it's like everywhere they go, they're sitting on a fucking rock having some poor soul take pictures of them.
Big time. And they're big time into social media, like, which is not something that we did when I first started, you know? It's like, you didn't really, you know, it was just a lot of strict rules about what you could do. But these girls now, it's like, they're giving advice on YouTube of, like, being a flight attendant, what it takes, and you've been doing this shit for 6 months. You don't know what it fucking takes.
Right.
You have no idea. You're in the beginning of it, you know? And they just have I think it's just a generational thing, that entitlement that, you know,
It most certainly is.
Mm-hmm. Like when I started, I was like, senior people told me to do something, I just did it. I didn't question this woman. This woman's been here 30 years, and she tells me, I don't care what they taught you at Barbie boot camp. This is the way we do it here. You know what I mean? I know they told you to put drop the napkin in the bunny dip, but we don't have time for that shit. We have a half-hour flight. We got to serve 150 people. You say chicken or beef, chicken or beef, chicken or beef. Mm-hmm. You know?
And throw them shits out like ninja stars. Bang, 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 bang.
I used to be like, you know,
yeah.
That was it. So, yeah.
Do you feel like you've appreciate humanity, or you're just like being a flight attendant, because you're dealing with the public and you're dealing with people at a high stress level. You're dealing with people who will probably feel a little bit entitled, or maybe not. Maybe you're dealing with most of the people are good people. What would you say? What's the general consensus?
I would say the majority of people in an airport are assholes, and they're delusional, and they lose their sense of, like, you have CEOs that they don't know how to open the bathroom door. And I'm like, I got a GED. And I'm like, But then they'll come out and bitch about things that's not my department, buddy. You know, I think most people, when they get in an airport, for some reason, they check their brains in with their luggage. They just, you know, they'll go, where's the bathroom? I don't know. I've never been in this airport, sir. Like, I read the signs.
Yeah, it's a total lack of awareness. They want people just to do things for them. They're thinking out loud almost, but looking at you, right?
Yeah.
So
they don't listen too. Like, you know, they're frantic, and I get that too.
That's what happens.
I think that's what it is.
So that's what happens to a lot of people. They become frantic and they lose a little bit of control, and they want someone to solve the problem for them because they're stressed. There's time restraints.
Sure.
Maybe they're a little nervous about flying, whatever the case. But you can't behave that way. You stop behaving like a child. That's the way
people just, I've had people like, you know, grown men, it's like, oh, I'm out of the chicken, just lose their shit. Banging on the tray table. This is unacceptable. I'm like, I'm out of chicken, not jet fuel. When I tell you I'm out of fuel, then you could behave that way, sir. But you know what? I'm from New York. I kind of de-escalate things now. You know, I kind of know how to talk to people, and I have like that face where people kind of know, like, this isn't the bitch. She's going to call whoever and have me in handcuffs.
I can see that.
Yeah, I just say, you know, when people drink too much, I'm like, listen, you're not at your cousin's wedding. You need to slow the fuck down. When you get to Cancun, you can drink at your all-inclusive. You're in a silver metal tube right now. You can't behave that way.
I saw a guy get in trouble on the plane. He was sitting right across from me, and he brought his own alcohol.
Okay.
And he had the little, what do you call the little joints?
Nips.
Nips. Yeah, he had a bunch of nips. And he was like this. And so there's different types of like.
Sure, I don't hate
drunks.
on people when they do that. As long as they don't I act like I don't see that shit because I don't want to pay $8 either.
Right. But he's going in, right?
Okay.
And there's different types of, you know, drunks and you know, druggies or whatever, right? So he was the kind of like to hide his shit. And he was well dressed. I think he had on like a sweater vest on, perfectly manicured. You know, he had the tie and everything. And he was like this. And then he started talking to himself.
Wow.
Yeah. And then he started like going, excuse me. Like people were walking by, he was going, I love you.
He started clawing at
yeah,
people.
He looked like he had little T-Rex arms.
What did you do? What was your like, were you nervous about it?
No, I was actually thoroughly entertained. I was like, I don't want to watch a movie. I'm just going to watch this guy. This guy's great.
Did it escalate?
Yeah, he got in trouble.
Really?
Yeah, the flight attendant came up to him and she's like, sir.
Yeah, the flight attendant voice.
Yeah, she said, sir, I'm going to need you to keep your hands to yourself when people walk by the aisle. You are not
I love your flight attendant voice.
She said, you are not to put your hands on anybody. 1, 2, please put on your seatbelt. He was like, and then he would go like this and tie like in a knot. And like bring his knee to his chin. He was acting really strange.
Wow.
And as the flight went on, he kept on drinking and he became more.
Yeah.
He started behaving more bizarre. And he got in trouble. They gave him like a pink slip. And I was like, ooh, you're in trouble?
I don't even get to the pink slip.
So what's a pink slip? What's that?
It's like a warning.
Okay.
But if someone is so drunk or so highly agitated, they're not even going to read that. They're not going to care. The only thing they're going to respond to, and believe me, I do it quietly. I lean down.
Yeah, it wasn't too
No, I just
noticeable,
tell
but I
them,
was
like,
there.
listen, if I decide to tell the pilot you told me there's a bomb on board, you're going to be in a lot of fucking trouble. They're going to believe me against you, so what are we doing here?
Right.
And people are like, this bitch is crazy, you know? Or I say to them, listen, I don't have time for this. You're going to get tasered. You'll be tasered. I don't have a taser. I just tell them, I'll taser you and strap you to the seat. I'm not going to do this today. And then they look at me and they're like, I don't think this is the one to test. And they calm down. Half of the time they do.
Oh, man, that's great. You whisper in the ear, fuck around, you're going to lay around.
Yeah, but you got to do it with the flight attendant face. So you got to like smile so the other people around don't know. And not going to listen, you motherfucker. Yeah. Okay?
So you do it like this?
Yeah, I do. I've done that many times.
I'm going to fuck your ass up if you don't. If you don't put on your seatbelt and shut the fuck up, thank you. Can I get you a drink?
Yeah, that's what I do.
But no alcohol beverages for you.
Yeah,
Coca-Cola or ginger ale.
Yeah, sometimes. I try to use humor. I try to, say, sir, I'm not going to be inclined to help you if you're screaming at me.
Where does that confidence come from? Because you're a confident person. Someone who could de-escalate an issue like that comes from confidence. That's in you.
You think so?
Yeah, I agree. I totally believe that. That's a smooth fucking technique. That's like a street smart.
Yeah, I think that's where it comes from. Being street smart, getting yourself, like knowing where you could test your boundaries. Like I can look at people, I could see their little demons, you know, like quickly. And that's from, I think, assessing people when you're in a rough neighborhood or you're in an environment where, there's a lot of predators. So you have to kind of test somebody, look at them and know, can I say this to this person? Can I not say this? Is this person gonna? So yeah, that helps. Like I'm a very good judge of people. So that helps in my job a lot.
Did you ever have a situation where you say, if I say something to this guy, it's going to escalate, so let me just leave it alone? Or do you feel, probably not,
Well,
right?
maybe now that I'm sober, but before is like I was very reactionary to everything. And, I'm just, like I said, coming from a street environment and that insecurity of not wanting someone to get the best of you. You know what I mean? Or to feel less than. So if there was some CEO and he thought he was going to talk to me in any kind of crazy way, I'd feel like it was my responsibility to teach him some manners.
Shut it down real quick.
Shut it down,
That's wild, right? How there could be a certain time in your life where we hold on to shit.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I've acquired through my sobriety, and I give it to sobriety, is my confidence and my self-esteem has been restored. Because I remember allowing things to gnaw at me for weeks at a time, waking up thinking about it. And that's insecurity. And now I can address things right off the bat.
Or not. That's
or
what
not.
Learned.
Sometimes they don't even deserve your attention or energy.
Right.
A lot of times it's just the way people are going to behave and maneuver, especially if someone's suffering from the same disease. A lot of times you'll find yourself in a situation like, oh, there's a lot of pulling back and forth. This argument is just going to go, and I don't even mean like a physical argument. I mean, it's going to feel like an argument,
Sure. I mean, I just think that you don't have to react to everything. Not everybody deserves that kind of thing. And if that person moves around in the world like an asshole, they're going to move around like that after you leave them. And, in my day-to-day life, I've realized I don't have to do that anymore. And how somebody thinks of me is none of my business. You know
my God.
mean?
And how much more lighter do you feel when you start to adopt that ideology?
Big time.
Right?
It was like a big wake up for me. And, another big thing for me.
How did you discover that? That's
in AA.
In AA, yeah. Well, yeah.
In rehab.
Right. Because that doesn't happen by just abstinence. It doesn't happen from giving up the alcohol. And if anything, you feel a little lost, and then you start peeling these layers back.
Yeah, for me too. Like that's like a thing. You lose your feelings in addiction. Like you numb everything. So when you're sober, and I say, like, I always sort of convince myself if I can get rid of the physical addiction, if I can get the gorilla off my back, I'd be fine. But the circus is still in town, baby. You got to address all those things, right? That made you get high. And so, yeah, I'm just in the taking my baby's toes into that. But AA and sobriety and just listening to other people, I like to learn from other people's mistakes.
And there's a number of different people we can look to who could
Shit.
There's constant reminders.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and behaviors, people have a lot of addict behaviors, and it's like people look at addicts, oh, those people in AA, they're crazy, but like we move in the world, like we get our shit out every day. Or did you ever attend a 12-step program, or you just sort of did it on your own?
I did it on my own with the help. I went to like a kind of like an outpatient thing where I attended meetings or weekly, and at first it was like 3 to 4, and I failed many times off the bat.
Yeah.
Like, I tried it 4 or 5 different times until I really felt like I was ready.
Right.
Like there was a time where I felt like I really wanted it. There was times that it was done in vain. Like I was like, yeah, this is what I need to do because I didn't feel
and
good.
Ultimatums, or like other people telling you, like
no, it was always me, and that's what it made the problem a little hard to deal with because no one really told me. I couldn't deal with myself. I couldn't stand myself from the outside in. A lot of people couldn't tell. I just I realized my potential, and I was shortchanging myself big time, and I just felt miserable.
Right.
I just felt miserable. So from the outside in, if I would reach out to people who are close to me, I said, this is what I want to do. Like, I don't think you have a problem, which is weird.
Oh, yeah, me too. I mean, everybody was sort of shocked. All my friends were shocked. Like, what? It's like, Yeah. Because I was like, they call it a high bottom, It's like I realized that, I tried to quit many times on my own. You know what I mean? I tried. It just wasn't working, and God intervened for me what I couldn't do for myself. You know what I mean? But I kind of am lucky and blessed that when I went to rehab, I recognized like, oh, I should be here. Because like I heard other people and I was like, oh, I do that. Oh, I do that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot
so
of
I
similar
recognized that I
behavior.
was an addict right away.
Yeah. I It's funny how flashbacks of the dirtbag shit I've done. Like, so the DBS, for those who don't know, is an acronym that lends itself to dirtbag shit, drugs, booze, sobriety, right?
Right.
And, it's weird how certain things are this highlighted. I remember hanging out all fucking nice, stuffy nose, the sun, piercing into the dirty window. It's a beautiful sunny day.
Yeah,
There's a pigeon on my AC, just looking in like that. You piece of shit. I'm like, oh, that type of morning or afternoon. And I remember I couldn't get up and walk far enough to the bathroom, so I peed in a plant. A beautiful plant that I rescued.
That plant was high like a motherfucker, wasn't it?
It died.
It died?
And I feel bad about that.
You put it on your amends list. That's crazy.
Yeah, I killed the fucking plant.
Wow.
Yeah, just peeing in it overnight. Who does that shit?
It's just like a lot of shit you do when you're high. Just shit, I would fall asleep. You know what I mean? And I'd wake up with like gummy bears because like opiates make you. I'd have like a gummy bear. One time I was eating M&Ms, and then the next day I was at work. I didn't even shower because I was so agitated. Didn't have shit that you do when you're an addict, right? And I get to work and I'm like, what is this underneath my? Like I felt something. And I was like, oh my God, I have a lump in my breast. It was a fucking M&M from the night before.
And you were like...
I ate it. How did you know I ate it? I was
You're like, oh my God, I
here.
love salted M&Ms.
Stuff like that. Stupid shit. It's like, this is not normal behavior. Like, normal people don't find M&Ms and eat them. Normal people... just craziness. And just, the finagling, the lying, what are you doing with the money? Like, oh, I bought, it's like bringing home something from the Dollar Tree. It's like, oh, that was $80? Yeah, it was $80.
I know.
I
don't miss it at all, but I check myself because that shit never goes away.
Right.
It never goes away. Sometimes, how we're experiencing this nice weather in New York, right? Like we walk,
yeah.
we're like, I met you in the front of the building, right? And we walk, and that cool breeze, ooh, that sun,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Ooh, it's like that, ooh.
If you were more of a party drug addict, right?
Yeah.
Like a partier, yeah.
But
Mine was
sometimes
just,
this
more
weather,
of a hidey hole drug addict.
Yeah, but it could get grimy real quick.
Yeah, anything can trigger you. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. So a lot of times, like sometimes the temperature of the when the season starts to hit, I'm like, ooh, Heineken.
Ooh, yeah.
And
so you don't
cocaine.
drink either?
No, I don't. I don't
you abstain
drink
from everything.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's funny how some things will trigger it, but I gotta address it and I gotta make fun of it because then I own it. If I act like it doesn't bother me, I'm like, no, I'm fine.
Yeah, because then I definitely I don't have cravings for my drug of choice, but like I try to convince myself like I can drink. Drinking was never a problem for me, really. But, they say it's like you'll switch seats on the Titanic. You might take the drugs away, but you're going to eventually, because my brain wants to escape reality, right? So I have to guard my thoughts in all things, food, sex, shopping, because I'm just an addict. I'm an addict in all things.
Yeah. I recall right after I got sober. I remember spending all this time in the gym and losing all this weight. And I lost all this weight in my body, but my head remained the same size. So
that's great.
So I'm just like all head in the gym, peeing like blood.
Really?
Because there was a couple of days like that. I was like, oh, now I'm like offsetting,
Right. I wish I had that problem. I wish I was like, you know what? I'm going to pick up a healthy addiction. Like all my addictions.
That's not healthy if you're peeing
going
blood.
to the gym. Oh, you were boxing with people? Is that what you're doing?
So I've always worked out. But what happened was like I shifted. I was just so pent up.
Oh, yeah.
And so I would spend like 3 hours in the gym. 3 hours in the gym is like watching the Titanic.
Yeah.
Like,
You could have done a lot in those 3 hours. Did your taxes, all kinds of shit.
So you gotta, I had to like really
Balance.
schedule. Yeah. And that's key.
So you train people now. That's what you do, right?
Right.
Boxing training. So you train like what, accountants to think they can defend themselves on the A train?
Most of them, I always make fun of my clients. They're all named Megan and Kelsey.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, and they're a great group of people, but they're young professionals, and a lot of them pack a punch. But that's my clientele. I tell young women in the city.
That's your hustler. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, and
But do they ever get a little too like? You know what? I was in the Bronx, South Bronx, and do you check them a little bit. Like, listen, this is fun, and but don't think you're gonna go fight a bitch on a train. Just like give up your seat or your purse if somebody approaches you. Just give it up, because boxing with me and messing with a crackhead that wants to steal your sneakers are two different things.
That's an interesting point. I don't have anyone like that.
Okay.
I think in the past, I definitely had someone who, was wearing their boxing shoes off training hours, maybe put Vaseline on their face to go to Key Food, maybe wore their wraps when they were walking to Trader Joe's.
That would be me, because I want acknowledgement that I've been working out. So I'd be like, I would wear that shit. So somebody said, do you box? Yeah, I box.
Yeah,
what's up? I box.
That's funny. It's funny. But I don't have anyone who I'll tell you this. A long time ago, I was training someone, and she got real comfortable. She punched me in the back of my head. I walked away, and she went like this. It was a Puerto Rican chick from the Bronx.
Oh, okay.
She went like, she went, bah! And she went like that.
Oh, she was like, yeah, okay.
And I was like, yo, you can't do that.
You're
do
really
not
ODing now.
OD.
Yeah, but that's women. We do that.
Like to push
like, I'm gonna get
push.
your ass.
Like to
like
it.
my father used to tell me too. Like, if you're gonna kick a guy in the balls, don't let him know you're gonna do it. So my father was like,
have you ever kicked someone in the balls?
Many times. Many times, but only as a last resort, because I have two brothers, and my father said, like, if you're gonna kick him in the balls, it's got to be, don't kick him for saying something. If he's grabbing you, or you're in a tough situation. Yeah, many times. I'm from New York. I ride the train. Guys take their dicks out. I've kicked them in the dick.
I was talking about that in my last episode.
Yeah.
And I was dumbfounded by how many dicks my last guest has. She's like, yeah, I don't want unwarranted dicks out of context. No, because I was trying to defend Louis C.K. and how much he lost from masturbating.
I mean, I think you're right about that, though.
Right? But on the flip side, like, yeah, dude, you can't whip out your dicks. And if it takes a campaign.
But wait a minute. How come women, when do we take so much power away from women that a woman could say, it's Louis C.K. He wasn't going to grab you and throw you on the floor. Like, dude, put that little freckly dick away. I don't want to see that shit. Are you going to let me open for you? Because then you could jerk off. Like, women use their femininity and their, the promise of sex to get things from men. So when men get money, they're going to take advantage. We all have that give and take, but women were not. I don't know.
No, I think you do know, and that's a fucking great point.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say when the campaign reaches a point where it's like. I went on a date and I felt uncomfortable. When it goes that lane, it's like, yeah, he kissed me and I didn't want to.
The pendulum has swung so far in the other direction.
And listen, I always say that's the byproduct of a movement, because this shit needs to be addressed, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever dealt with like a weird situations, like hardcore? Aggressive.
As an adult woman, yeah, like in bars and shit, like a guy buys you a drink, they follow you around like you fucking rented an apartment, we signed a lease. Motherfucker, get the fuck away from me. You bought me one Bacardi and Coke. I know it was $20, but we didn't sign a lease. Like, back the fuck up. I didn't agree to marry you, and then they'll be like, Ma, what's up, Ma? Come on, you want to play me like that? And then they're like,
I've done that shit before. I've done that shit. I bought a drink and hovered around in my suede vest. Like this in the Copa?
Yeah, hovering is okay, but when you start grabbing somebody...
Yeah, I never grabbed, but yeah. I definitely have bought one or two drinks, and the girl, I could feel her rolling her eyes with her back towards me like, this motherfucker doesn't want to go! And then walk away, turn around and go, oh, you still here? Oh,
still here? I was like, dude...
You're still here smiling?
You go to the bathroom and pray that the motherfucker's not waiting for you outside. I was waiting for you. What happened?
You've had guys like that, just mad aggressive?
And then people I
they feel like they owe you something.
A man that I work with, he was a lot older. I was like 16. I was selling newspapers on the phone, like cold calling people and trying to get them to deliver the New York Times. And he made like a little pass at me. And over
the phone?
No, I was the guy, the owner of the company.
Oh, okay.
And he was like in his 40s. He was like an old Jewish guy. You know what I mean? I was like 16. It was my first real job.
Mr. Finkelstein, that's a no-no.
No. He was like, get your hands off my freaking shitzels. But he made a pass and I was like, listen, I kind of shut him down. But then, you know what I did? I came in drunk on St. Patrick's Day. I was like, I'm here for my check. What is he going to say to me? You know what you did, and I know what you did. You want me to tell Mrs. Finkelstein? So there's a little bit of power in that. I don't know. I was always raised to, like, as a woman, you use what you have to sort of, do what you need to do with men. You know what I mean? In a certain way, in a certain aspect. You know. And I'm not mad at women that fuck their way to the top. I fuck my way to the bottom, but you know what I mean? If you're going to do that, you're going to do that. But Louis C.K.'s like, the internet is not real life.
It's not. And I'll tell you, even with what we're dealing with now, with all the Asian hate and everything, listen, no doubt shit is dirtbag and that needs to be corrected. But I cannot stand the aggressive campaign and then when I have a white person, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
but telling me
white
it's
people
not
are the most
okay.
outraged,
I'm like,
always.
Yeah, so if I have a person telling me how to treat Asian people, to check in on my Asian friend because you put up a fucking meme, and I know you're fucking being a super dirtbag outsider because I know you personally.
Yeah. Yes, like Instagram. I'm like, you know what? I'm not posting that. It's not my battle. Is it my business or is it going to affect my day-to-day life? That's why I don't vote either. We could talk about that a little bit.
And I get it. I get it. Right. You know, I felt, I think people feel pressured to you know, to join it.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
it's like a mob mentality, but it's online.
It's online, and it doesn't feel real. And why does the discrimination against Asian people is now being overshadowed by, I have these, and when I say white people, what I mean is white people.
Absolutely. I was going to say, are you going to qualify that with something? No, white people are always the most outraged, and it's usually wealthy. Like, I come from the
that's what
gutter,
I'm saying.
But it's wealthy white people that feel like they're
cut it out. And like, you know what? You don't know fucking language. That's the thing. They don't know the language of oppression or discrimination. So they're like, yeah, call this number. And you don't call a fucking number. You just protect the people that are around you. You treat the people with respect. Right. And day to day, you behave accordingly.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, that's the way it really is. So I come in my microcosm of a world, which extends towards meeting you and other people. I treat people the way I want to be treated. I'm a kind person. Absolutely. And that lends itself in that energy, and I surround myself around that. So that's my network of people, right? And there's change through that. But I can't, you know, this kind of this life that people have adopted. Like, well, this is. One moment I'm my friends having martinis and I got a labradoodle.
Right.
And you know, and I'm like this, like
adopt, don't shop. They're eating burgers when they say they're vegan, all that kind of shit.
All that shit. And then you post about a meme and like, if you don't share, it's not okay. And this other side of like the kind of passive aggressive bulliness. Yes. That's like a bully shit right there. I'm like, no.
The internet is not real life. Most people are not going to say to you, to your face, what they say on their internet. That's number one. Number two is this generation thinks they're entitled to voice their opinion when they don't know about enough things. Right. Because the access to information is so easy now. If we wanted to know about something, if we were interested in something, we had to go. Like if you wanted to box, right? Back in the days, you couldn't Google boxing gym, this and that. You had to look in the yellow pages, call up a place, find out if they're going to take you, what the situation is. So you earned a little bit of that knowledge before you got there. Now people have access to it and they eat it up in small increments and then they think anybody else gives a shit about what they have to say.
You're absolutely right.
You don't have to always voice your opinion. You know, if there's a guy in Nebraska that hates, you know, flight attendants and thinks we're all whores, like, that's on you, dude. I don't feel the need to correct you because you're not in my life daily, which is the same thing, you know, I mean, it's an unpopular and controversial opinion, which is why I don't vote. Because
I like it.
Yeah, I don't vote. And you know what? I don't get too much into politics because, you know, no matter who's in the White House, like Donald Trump being in the White House, did that affect your day-to-day life? Let me ask you that question. Outside of the internet.
Only because the internet. And I did a lot. First of all, I found it to be fucking hilarious. Like there was listen, dirtbag. But some of the shit was fucking hilarious. And I'm sorry. Funniest president, hands down. No one's fucking with Donald Trump.
George Bush was pretty hilarious in the shit that he said.
They're both dumb. But Trump had jokes. He would set you up. And they're like, like set up twist punchline type shit. I was like, yo, this guy's funny.
I mean, people were like deleting their
maniac,
anties. Right.
But like funny. But what I'm saying, I say that. The way that Trump affected my mother, Like, I'm like, Mom,
Really?
you're getting up there. Like, you cannot allow this man
She was
in the
super
TV.
stressed.
Super stressed.
Yeah, most people I know too.
Yeah, and I can allow that to penetrate my world. You know, my interaction with my everyday people. You know, okay, I get it that he's pushing for this, that, and the third. Okay, and those are the laws that he's trying to get past or whatever. And I get it, and it requires some attention, but it cannot consume my day-to-day activities. I got too much good shit in my life.
Exactly. And to be honest with you, I've never had a president in office that's changed my life in any particular way. Like my circle of friends, my job, my daily interactions. Number one, we have the illusion of freedom in this country. And if anybody thinks that our votes particularly count, I'm a bit of a conspiracy theory. I just don't
Here
think
we go.
When in the
Queen
history of the world has people with money and power ever given poor people or average people choices?
What? I'm not
without
sure.
us rebelling and taking that shit.
Right.
So why do we think that our votes really count? They're going to put who they're going to put in there.
I agree.
It's the illusion of
That's a
freedom.
system that works, and it's kind of like it fluctuates a little bit, but for the most part, it's been consistent.
I'm not putting my energy into it. It's going to be the top 1% of people with the wealth rule the world.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of
Tinfoil hat. Let me put it on. It's a snapback though. Made of tinfoil.
That's why you want to talk about liberating and having, that's what has to be done within yourself.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's what we have control over. And I always go back to that. Points of inspiration. I look in, and I didn't come up with this shit, but you know what I have control over? How I feel about myself. And that's through training, what I eat, what I digest, like reading wise, and the conversations and the people I have in my life.
Disciplined in your life. You have a discipline.
And you know what? And that shit requires work. That shit requires enough work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And how you raise your daughter and how you speak to her and how she's going to move in the world, like that's the best thing you can do. Be the change you want to see in the world. You know what I mean? It starts with yourself, how you feel, and it kind of will go out to other people, right?
Me and you share the same ideology. Do you feel the evolution is evident in your life with you as a daughter to your mother and father?
For sure.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, I think
my mother's an advanced human being, but definitely for my father, my mother's the shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, you feel the same way. You do feel like.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't adopt the same thoughts as my mother, and that's something that I had to let go, resentments over things that, behaviors and stuff, because, I might have had a shitty childhood, but the good news is, you know what I mean? It's over. And now I am responsible for the choices that I make. I think people hang on to things,
But also, it kept you equipped. You're sharp as a whip. You're confident and you're strong. I can see that.
Yeah.
Like, that's some shit that if it was any different, you wouldn't be given those tools to navigate. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's like, my friends, I always say, like, we were foxhole friends, because our childhood was like a fucking war zone. You know what I mean? So
how so? Would you say more internally or the neighborhood or a little bit of both?
The neighborhood, that time period, the 90s, the crack epidemic.
We grew up around the same time. You were uptown, I was downtown. Yeah, I've seen people shot right in front of me.
Yeah.
That's
bad.
So you see like violence and abundance. It's what's interesting about this particular case. I was playing handball against the car. That's dirtbag.
Yeah,
I'm hitting someone's car, right? We're playing handball against like a truck, and a neighborhood guy ran up on another dude. Shot him in the back of the head, bah! And we just saw him running, and it was like a dude out of a car. So he was like running with like his head behind him,
really,
with his knees, with the gun, and like a bag of drugs.
Wow, he shot him for the drugs.
Yeah, and it was I remember the guy was shooting. This fell flat on his stomach, and you know what me and my friend did? We continued playing handball.
Wow,
it's weird.
You desensitized. Yeah, for sure.
And at that age,
it's sad.
Different. Yeah, and then I started dropping dimes. I was like, police.
What do you mean?
Yeah, telling. I started telling.
Oh, you're a
snitch. And then my friend was like, cut that shit out.
Yeah, fucking, I learned that real young.
Yeah,
Don't tell him shit.
I was getting a little too loose. He was like, because the cop was like, did you see? I saw a guy running, and then he was like that.
Oh boy!
And I was like, yo, I know this guy.
How old were you about? You didn't say.
I was 13, 14.
Right, that age, you still have a little reverence for police officers, and you still want to be a good person.
Yeah, and that cop was just asking way too many questions. I was like, yo.
Yeah.
I can't fuck with you,
I mean,
Officer Sullivan.
Yeah. Oh, he was probably an Irish drunk cop.
Probably.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of your friends, are they in jail and stuff like that? Or
You know what? Not a lot in jail. Some of them have not a lot of jail inmates, but a lot of them have succumbed to drugs.
yeah,
Quite a few.
sure. My neighborhood too. A lot of, I mean, guys have done a lot of time too. Yeah.
I know. It's weird. I know a couple of guys who did, and they're just getting out now. Yeah. And you know how many albums like Eminem dropped since you fucking...
They come out too in that same like outfit. It's like, dude, you got the sweater with the leather patches on it.
You ever dated somebody who was in jail and try to be...
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know what's like, something about you is like, you know what, motherfucker, I'm going to stick with you, but you better be sending me some
my
fucking
God.
interesting letters.
You know what? You remember Spofford? It was like a juvenile detention.
Yes, I was scared of death for that
place. Was like a little drug dealer, like a low-level drug dealer.
Did you date mostly Latino and black guys given where you were from? There was a lot of white guys?
There was a lot of dirtbag white guys for me to choose from.
Yeah.
So we kind of stick together. But there was a lot of mixing in that. We were like kind of a mix. I grew up in the projects on 92nd and 1st. So it was like really Hispanic, black, and a lot of dirtbag white people.
Yo, and I feel like the white people from the streets during that time, they had something to prove a little more.
Oh, yeah.
And they were probably peppered in with a little racism.
Oh, for sure. Because your parents using shit at home.
Yeah, because I had a friend who...
peppered with racism.
Yeah,
like that.
But you know what? They were all racist.
Yeah.
Like, but it was just a racism that was out the ordinary for me. Because I remember I used to hang out with this kid when I first moved to 3rd Street, and his mother used to walk around barefoot. And she used to talk like this. She was like...
white?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The house was dirty?
The house is dirty.
Yeah, Puerto Rican moms don't play that shit. That house is clean.
And she used to walk around barefoot smoking cools. And she would just be yelling, smoking like, you motherfucker, get out the gutter.
In a very thin t-shirt.
Yes. It was one of those, what do you call those, bajas? Like, it was like just a drape. Like, there was nothing underneath. It was a
like
thin.
a Snuggie back then?
Yes, but thin.
Like an original Snuggie?
No bra.
Yeah.
Yeah. Callous heels. Get out the fucking gutters, you cocksucker.
Oh, yeah.
Like, talking
Talking crazy, right?
And her husband at the time had a stroke, so he used to always stutter. He's like, you motherfucker, he doesn't listen. Talking to my friend like this.
My parents just talk to us crazy.
So, man, Sergio.
Kick your teeth in.
Yeah, I'll kick your fucking teeth in, Sergio.
Yes.
You're hanging around with the colored kid? I don't trust him.
Wow.
They were accepting of me, I guess, because I was light skinned. Or maybe they talked the same shit behind my back.
Oh, for sure they did. Because my mother would be real nice if you came over. You want something to eat? My father too. How you doing? As soon as you leave, don't ever bring anybody that's darker than a paper bag in his house again.
Wild.
That's the kind of shit that they would say.
Darker than a paper bag.
Darker than the paper bag test.
Yeah.
The darker than that light paper bag,
That's wild.
Which is funny because it's like, we're white trash. Like, welcome, you know what I mean? They're not.
I don't know if you were white trash in the family I'm talking about. They used to get, have a bottle of RC Cola and then pass it around.
Oh, no cups?
No cups, pass it around.
I was a white trash where I had like the whipped cream bowl and we would use it for cereal. You know, the leftover, like the country crock.
Yeah.
We'd have that as our like cereal bowls. We'd wash it out and save it. That's the kind of we had cups.
Right, but you still use that shit. Like,
Yeah.
So you had the cups, but then you would use like a country crock.
Country crock. That was like the Tupperware back then. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But the RC Cola go and then maintain eye contact with me while he's drinking it, and they go, want some?
Grape? Is it grape flavored? And then everything was like now they have, what is the Walmart brand? They have
I don't know. I don't live that lifestyle no more. Joanne, I have you know that I have a bidet.
I'm sorry, you go to Trader Joe's?
I have a bidet.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Yo, my ass stay clean.
Oh, I just use baby wipes.
How can anyone not use baby wipes these days? Like,
I'll tell you some dirtbag shit I did today, right? Because I had to go do laundry in the morning, and I had to take a shit because I ate too much protein. And I was like, I gotta shit in this public bathroom. I was like,
what public bathroom?
In the fucking laundromat.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, I'm like, oh, should I go to my bag because I have like hairspray in there? You know, I was like, no, it was not.
You're lucky they had a wash and a wash and dry in the laundry. You're lucky they had a restroom at the laundromat. I never heard of that.
Oh, it was like a key.
Then again, I wouldn't know because I have
I'm sorry.
I have a washer and dryer
I live
in my
a shoebox
apartment
in Whitestone in an illegal apartment. So there is no washer and dryer. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna even go get my hairspray. And I just went and just like shit. And then I heard somebody knocking. And I was like, yo, I got to wet this napkin because I didn't bring in my baby wipes and wash my ass. And then it was like funky. And then I said, fuck it. I walked out.
Yo, you made it happen though. The only thing is when you do the wet. When you wet the toilet paper with some hopefully warm water, you might have a little joint in your ass.
I'm sure I have a
little joint.
Still, maybe.
Yeah, I've been with girls one time, and I, all night long I'm trying to have sex, and she finally,
Right.
that could be a me too if I'm not careful. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we're hanging out.
Yeah, the vibes are going.
The vibes are going. She's like a little hard to get and shit. Right. And I remember, man. The visual is staying in the back of my brain. I saw a little joint. She had a little, and I picked up on one of that. Yo, you forgot something.
Oh, it's called clitty litter. When you got shit stuck and you got to do the tape, you got to check that shit.
You got to check that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very becoming. Clean your ass.
Clean your ass. Wipe your pussy, guys. I mean, it's 2021.
And I always, I walk around with the baby wipes.
Me too. I got them shits in my purse right now. I'm not trying to be,
No, you can't. Yeah, you can't get caught slipping.
But like dating, I feel sorry for women, and now I feel sorry for men. Like if you work in an office, it's not acceptable to be like, "Hey, Karen, would you like to have coffee?" That's not going to happen.
I just did a anti-harassment prevention form for the gym, and and they were kind of breaking down the different terms for like cisgender.
Oh, that's a big hot button for me.
Yeah, and I was confused for a long time. I think I got it. So cisgender is if you were born a woman and you identify as a woman, boom, you're cisgender.
Right.
Binary, I don't identify as a male or female. So I told my friend that. He was like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I understand your frustration. I don't quite, but I'm trying to understand. I want to be empathetic and sensitive towards it and open-minded, right?
Absolutely.
But he said something funny. He was like, okay, if they're not going to identify as a male or female, I'm going to ask, what gender do you have?
Yeah, like, what is
I'm going to call you. You got a dick? Hey, dick.
Yeah, I don't know. It's biology. I don't know when our feelings overrode facts, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a cisgender woman. I'm just a woman. I had a pediatrician on who said that in the next 2 years, he's not going to be allowed to put the sex of the baby on a birth certificate. The parents will be able to determine
the
sex. That's crazy to me. Like, how do you feel about, like, you box? Is there any transgender women that are in boxing? I know they had Fallon Fox that was in MMA.
Yeah. So you asked if I know of any boxers?
Yeah, like professional. Are there any? Because I know in MMA there's Fallon Fox, but that was like I don't know in boxing.
That shit is illegal. That should be illegal because if you're originally a man, but then
went through male puberty.
Yeah, and your bone density is bigger.
Sure.
And the matches that they participated in was so one-sided. That was like, look how a man beat up a woman.
She was Ike Turner-ing people all over the place. Like and she lied in the first few fights. Yeah. Biologically you were born male, especially if you went through male puberty. The only exception I would think is if you transitioned so young and you were on hormone blockers before. But there's not a lot of people our generation that were able to do that.
Right.
So you're biologically man. I don't care how you feel. This is just factual. You can live your life outside of a ring however way you want to. It doesn't affect me. You know what I mean? I'm not.
But when it affects other people's health in a sport, there's
tough. Guys that are men. They're just dominating sports. So
maybe there should be I guess an alternative, and it is alternative because it's the minority, like, fighting for them.
Yeah, it should be a transgender MMA where they can fight each other. And, if a woman
it'd be a bunch of Maurices. That should be fun.
Taking off the door.
Because, imagine dude straight, but you fight like a chick.
Yeah.
That's a scrap.
Crazy.
You're pulling hair, but you hit like a man. I'll pay for that shit.
I'll pay for it.
I'll be eating microwave popcorn, drinking my ginger ale with extra ice like that.
Absolutely. I would love to see that. But, they just transgender. That's another thing. The pendulum is just swung so far in the opposite way that, we just override what's biology and what's science and what's facts, It doesn't mean that you discriminate against someone. It doesn't mean
absolutely
that you
not
put anyone down. But when you have bathrooms and things, like, it's weird because I've been all over the country, and the ones that are for everyone, it's like male, female, and then it's like men. Well, how come the men don't have to share it? It's always like the female spaces that get invaded, I found. You know?
Yeah. I have a client who brought in their friend, and I had to say their friend because I kept on saying she, but it's not binary. So I kept on going. Every time I said she in front of that person, it would come out slow mo. I was like,
You were afraid?
And I was like, oh, my bad.
Excuse me, shmam.
No, I cannot. And I
Just ask. Like,
yeah,
what are your
I knew.
pronouns?
I'm supposed to refer to them as they. Instead of girls, like, so, you know, so I did it, but I would own it. I would let it be known that I forgot, my bad. And they were totally cool. But I have fun with it, you know, thinking about it, like, my hiccups, because it's new to me.
Of course.
You
and
know?
I think most people,
they will
that's
fine.
the difference between, like I said, the internet and real life. Like, the internet people get outraged and this
Well,
and
that's
that.
what I'm saying. Like, listen, we want to talk about equality. Well, I make fun of every fucking body. Anyone can get it. I make fun of myself. I make fun of the fact that I have an overbite, a long face. I can't close my mouth. You know, I'm Puerto Rican. I doesn't speak any Spanish. You know, like
no Spanish?
No Espanol. And you know, the little Spanish is always. So I make fun of everything.
Right.
So no one's exempt. So like, and
I
listen,
agree.
that's not even my target. You know, like oh, I'm gonna go after this. But so what I'm saying is, anytime those feelings start to surface, as entertainer, like a comic, no one's off limit. Now, you know, it's a difference when it comes across as hateful or whatever.
Sure.
But I'm gonna make fun of everybody. So when those sort of things come up, I actually get excited talking about it because people get so riled up, like you said, on the internet. And that's the internet voice.
But in real life, when you're in a club and you're talking about the shit, people are like crying real tears, laughing.
Yeah,
right?
because, you know, it's fucking funny.
Yeah, and it's funny. And most personal conversations that you have with people, you're going to like, that's the way it is. Like, that's how I grew up too. If you had a bum leg, we're going to make fun of that shit.
Right.
Your mother got a bad eye. You know, you hurt my feelings, I'm going to hurt you back. Shit like that. And it gave us a little bit of a spirit of a fighting spirit, a spirit of being quick
with your wits, you know, not like, oh my God, I'm triggered, I'm offended,
right.
and like, and his voice, like, it's cut that shit out. In
our quest to like equalize, we're neutralizing people. It's
and also like the defense on the so anytime. You know, let's say it's transgender or a specific, you know, culture or whatever. They say, well, those people, for example, I spoke to someone who said, because my friend, he's Italian, he's a comic, very funny, and they had a problem with a transgender joke that he made, and I was like, well, he makes fun of his Italian fan, but Italians are not being beat up or whatever. I was like, but he's not making fun. But everyone was, you know what I'm saying? I said, if we start doing that, then you know you got to really check. If we start doing that. All right, because what it is, it's popular now.
Sure.
Right? It's popular now to defend certain groups. But you start doing that, I want you, you know, especially when you're gonna like knock entertainment.
Right.
Like comedy's entertainment, and it's always been known for that. For making fun of everything. You start doing that, another sort of entertainment you should check yourself on is the type of music you listen to. You know what? Because that could be abusive towards women too, right?
Yeah, that's why I don't understand this whole big outrage about, first of all, there's nothing new under the sun. What Cardi B's doing, Lil' Kim did.
Yeah.
Lick it, lolly, you know, you remember all that shit. It was raw.
Yeah.
Right.
So people are acting brand new with this shit.
Don't clutch your pearls because she's talking about the shit. There's nothing new under the sun. We just recycle things. But, you know, people have they feel the need, like I said, to voice their opinion. It's not always needed. You wouldn't do it in the street. You wouldn't say to someone, you know, I disagree with you just wouldn't do it. And the internet's not real life, you know, and people put so much, the internet and the media, like, permeates through culture, and people think that's what normal people think. Like, most normal people are somewhat in the middle politically. Most people. And
most people are good fucking people.
Yes.
Most people are good people. Most people, you know, are generous and kind. You know, the fact that what's being promoted out there is the bad, it's so fucking whack. Because I see a lot of good shit, and I experience a lot of good shit.
Me too. People generally want to be helpful.
No, it's funny. You said something different. You said, as a flight attendant, you deal with people who are anxious and annoying.
Inside the terminal. Once they're in the airport, they become assholes.
Everyone turns to assholes.
But you know
airport.
It's so funny that you say that because I notice, like, with my attitude, like, if I say somebody, like, I need you to put that mask on, or if I just say, sir, will you do me a favor? You just raise your mask. The whole demeanor has changed. Oh, yeah, because they think they're doing something good to help you. Or if you ask them, can I ask you to do me a favor? Can you just help this lady with this bag? Or can you just turn it? Yeah. It's like, oh, they feel like they're being helpful. They'll want to do it.
Yeah, but people don't want to, be like told what to do in a in a mean, an annoying way. That's a good
even if you say it sort of like, sometimes it's like it's not personal. I'm going to need you to do this, please. I always stand up with the please, but for some reason, people just don't like to be told what to do. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I grew up sort of respecting authority to a certain level till I was a teenager.
So you like the cops and what they're doing? I'm sorry.
Hell fucking no. Hell no.
Yeah, you like a cop's wife.
Oh, I dated a few. You know what it is? Cops are really fucked up, too.
You think?
Their mentality,
Well, yeah, they become mad jaded.
There's either a couple, they become super jaded, everybody's a perp, or like they were like the real Weasley kid that got beat up.
Yeah.
And like now it's like, I got this burner on my side.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that. She's burned the 90s.
Burner. 90s, I know. All my references are really old. But and they just have that attitude. But
when you were going through your shit, have you ever gotten arrested because of drugs?
No,
or
thank God.
You evaded the law, outlaw status.
Outlaw status. It's
Smooth.
not a crime until you get caught. But I mean, a lot of juvenile. I got arrested because I stuck up a DA when I was 17.
Well, how'd you stick up a DA?
Stupid. I was with these two girls, and back then I was only drinking and smoking pot, but they were doing coke, and I didn't really know that.
Yeah.
So I was with this girl I knew and an older girl who I never met before. She had a gun on her. And she
That's
was like,
wild.
I know. We were on 72nd Street and between 1st and 2nd. And we were on a stoop drinking 40s and stuff. Old English with the Hawaiian punch in it.
Oh, my God. I used to drink St. Ides.
Oh, St. Ides,
My 40s used to come with a free Snoop Dogg poster.
Yeah, St. Ides is good. I mean, it was shit, but we drank it anyway, right? So anyway, this lady, they're like, oh, we're going to stick somebody up. I'm like, all right, So I'm like, I'll be the lookout. So they followed this lady down the vestibule. And the other girl's like 300 pounds. There's a black girl. And I had a big overbite, too. People used to call me Freddie Mercury when I was a kid. I look a cross between Joni from Happy Days and Freddie Mercury, like that combination.
Okay, I'm getting a visual of the 300
pounds. And then my girlfriend was like
pound.
300 pounds. The other girl was like a skinny black girl, real tall.
Okay.
So they come flying out of the building, the girl's bag in her hands. I'm like, oh, shit. So we start running. We got caught 4 blocks later. Literally 4 blocks later. It was like not a good criminal enterprise. And then we found out the woman was a DA. And there was a bullet in the chamber of the gun. So it was like a big thing. I was like, oh, I'm going to jail. We went to central booking. I was like, split. You could smoke in central booking.
I remember that.
Have you been arrested?
Yes,
before?
I did central booking
As a
like 4
juvenile?
times over.
Oh.
Yeah, I never did any real time. Central bookings for weekends at a time. I remember that the cops were being nice and giving me cigarettes.
Yeah. Oh, they gave you cigarettes? Why? Who are you diming on that they were giving you cigarettes?
No, now I'm being known as a
snitch.
rat.
No cops ain't giving you cigarettes, bro.
No. So I had.
So how did you negotiate your release?
No. Like this is turning into Vlad TV.
Vice.
I had the pack on me, and the guy gave them back.
Oh,
to me.
right. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what became of that? Like you were.
Well, it was like in court for a long time. The woman
Did they
couldn't
just drop the
identify
type?
me
Oh.
because she passed by the stoop and she never saw me, so she couldn't really pick me out in the pictures and stuff like that.
Meanwhile, your friends are still
and
doing
I had none
hard
of her
time.
shit on me. They had the one girl went to jail. She did time. She went to Rikers.
Well,
It was
she
the
had the
first
gun.
night I met her. And you know what? My family got a bunch of money together for a lawyer, and they told her, listen.
This is before GoFundMe. They were
This
just
is
taking.
before GoFundMe. Everybody was like, they were at like my uncle's wedding, and they were like, yo, guess who got arrested? Let's all chip in.
Little Joanne.
Little Joanne? Nah, they knew I was criminal-minded. So, my family said to her, listen, she had a public defender, and it looked like she was definitely going to do time. She threw the gun. She ran. They caught
Fingerprints
her.
all over it.
Yeah, all that shit. The lady could identify her. So my family's like, listen, instead of investing into her, because she's probably going to get cut loose, we can get her a public defender. We'll give you money for a lawyer, but cut her loose. Say she didn't know what was going on. Tell the DA, whatever. Tell her she didn't really know what was happening. And she's like, nah, fuck that. We're all going down together. We did it together. Guess who ended up in Rikers and whose case dismissed? You wanted to be hard-headed. So that's what came of that. But it was like a year trial, almost like going to that and like going back and forth and a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, I bet.
So thank God I was a juvenile, and after that, I was like, I'm not really criminally motivated.
Yeah, I when I got locked up, it was for a bunch of dumb shit. But I remember the one time that it got serious. It was me and a bunch of kids, and we ran to a bodega or whatever, acting up in the village. It wasn't even a bodega. It was like a Korean deli. Like, that's a difference between a bodega.
Hardworking immigrants, and he went in there and took advantage of them?
Yeah, I mean, we were just drunk, and we were like, we didn't even steal anything. We were just acting up. But it came out to like pushing and shoving. But they locked us up. What was that?
The owners? Who were you pushing and shoving? Each other?
Like each other. We were young and we were so stupid.
Wow, that's some dumb shit to go to jail
we're like
for.
all in line, like pushing, and like the guy came out and brought a stick, and we might have grabbed the stick, but we didn't hit the guy.
Right.
But the charges were assault and robbery. That sounds so bad. And it was like
all
serious.
Hispanic?
It was like the United Nations. Black, Puerto Rican, Mexican, and a white kid.
You could have started your own gang in jail.
Yeah.
You should have just did the time. Like, fuck it. We got this shit.
Right. Rainbow Variety Crew.
Benetton.
So we did, it was like a weekend in jail, but I remember getting locked up with a cigarette, and I sold a cigarette in booking for $5.
Oh, you had a little hustle in there.
Yo, but
I was in
the cage by myself with other guys that I didn't know, and a group from right across the cell. They were like, "How you gonna sell a cigarette for $5, you motherfucker?" When I see you in the 4 building, I was like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, so you got bailed out before you went to Rikers.
They were on my ass for like 6 hours. I had guys talking shit from the other cell.
Because everybody's tough until they put you in the same van going to Rikers.
Yeah.
But like, I remember being like, this is bullshit, because we were in there for the worst shit, And then they said 5 minutes to the Rikers Island bus. That's when my ass started getting scared.
I mean, you're dealing with like real hardened criminals, guys who've been in and out of jail. I remember this guy. He had 2 eyes, like most of us do.
Okay.
But they were looking. It wasn't even cross-eyed. One was like looking to the left, and the other one was looking like downward.
That must have been that good angel dust.
Yeah, and he was like, and he showed me his paperwork. He was like, "Yeah, look at that. Look at my paperwork." He was mad small. He was like a tall little
Gotta
person.
watch out for those.
Yo,
and
his arms are mad small, and like he was a weird, like chicken wing arms. And he goes, "Yeah, look at my paperwork." And he was looking. Well, he wasn't looking at me.
Right. You don't know if he was.
And it was like 3 counts of fucking attempted murder. And he was like, "Yeah, fuck around," And he was like talking to me. I was like,
my God.
"Oh yeah, this is
like,
paperwork."
Yo, I'm here
and he looked at me mad hard, and I was like this. And he just kept on looking at me. I was like, "Yo, I cannot deal with this shit."
Right. So that ended your.
Yeah, it was one of those things.
Shit. You were like, I can't. I'm not really built for jail.
Stupid young shit.
Yeah.
Anyway. We have to wrap this up soon. I know I'm having a really good time when the hour flies by. We're actually 3 minutes over.
Oh wow. Okay.
I want to go back to the sobriety thing. So we got a few months in. What are the plans, and what keeps you like motivated about it? Does it, and you could be, obviously, does it feel like you were forced, or does it feel like something you really want to do? Or I think you actually answered that question. Like, now that you were in the rehab, it felt like something you really needed.
Absolutely.
What's your headspace now?
My motivation, first of all, I need to keep my fucking job. Let's be honest, because if I pop positive, I'm done. That's it. So I do have layers of protection to keep me sober, and I think that's helpful for me. But it's more my general attitude about what sobriety in this short period of time has allowed me to rethink my whole life. Like, I'm not tethered to the past. I know that, my future can be anything that I want it to be, and that's only something that I learned through sobriety. It's not like my parents were like, you can be whatever. I didn't have those type of parents.
Are they supportive? Do they know the deal?
No. I mean, my mother's like 79. I wasn't going to, really burden her with that. But, and, I don't have that tight of a relationship with her. But yeah, that's what, I mean, I stay motivated because I want to feel healthy. I want to be present in the world. I genuinely enjoy waking up. I do things, I would have never done this if I was high. I would have never had the confidence or even the thought, like, just go ahead and try and have fun. What's the worst that can happen, right?
Yeah,
So
everything slows down too.
Yeah.
When you're more present, you're more appreciative of like the little things. That's one thing that I hold on to. Like, while Charlie, my daughter, was getting, so I had Charlie. Well, I didn't have Charlie. Liz had Charlie.
Yeah, let's clarify this.
That's when the colors start to really pop. That's when things became more clear. That's when I really wanted it.
Yeah.
So my advice to anybody who wants to get clean or sober, have a kid. It makes everything better.
I think sometimes, you need something to, motivate you, but that doesn't keep a lot of people sober either,
Yeah, there's motherfuckers out there smoking crack with the belly.
With the belly.
The belly.
Yeah.
Baby kicking.
Absolutely.
Joanne, you're the bomb. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And I want to do this again if you would be interested.
I would love to. We have other things to discuss.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that is our episode for today. Thank you so much. And we out of here. Be Frank Network, Sound Lounge, we here. DBS Podcast. Peace.
Was it good?
Did you have fun?
I did, but I felt like I really wanted to talk about when I fucking blew you up on 96th Street. We forgot.
Oh, my God. How did we forget that?
That's the best fucking story. I had a court sketch reporter in the back of my side, and I was like, we got this motherfucker. And you were with your sister, right?
How did we forget that?
I don't know. But I was like, you're the fucking host. I wasn't going to be like, hey, remember when?
You should. Oh, shit. I wonder if we could just piece that in.
That shit was funny.
Yo, listen, get back on the mic. Okay. It's the DBS podcast, so under that umbrella, we could do what the fuck we want because we're gritty and raw. Before I let Joanne go, I didn't even know Joanne. I didn't even know you. And I get a text from Liz, my wife, who you've known for many years, stating, who are you with? I'm like, I'm with my sister. And she sends me a picture of me and my sister. And you know who took this picture? This surveillance shot? Joanne, explain yourself. Now that I get to,
all right, I'm going to explain myself. So I was on, of course, I was doing dirt. I was buying drugs in the city, but I wanted to point out your shit, right?
That's
funny.
Always how it gets. So I'm on 96th Street walking after a workout with my sister.
And like I said, I never met you before in person.
But you knew who I was.
I've seen you from Instagram. And you know what the first thing I noticed? I was like, your tattoo of the feather.
Yeah.
I was like, is that...
I can't commit any crimes with these fucking tattoos.
Right. Right? So I'm like, oh, that looks like Liz's husband, right? And then I see you with a chick. I'm like, that's not Liz. And then I see you.
And I knew you must have been high because me and my sister look alike. We look like twins.
You know what? I think she had like a baseball cap on and like a sweatsuit.
Right.
So I was like, and then I was like, wait. And then I think you even like grabbed her around like you like grabbed her around which is how you would grab your sister, like, But I was like, oh, this ain't Liz. I was like, I got this motherfucker. Zooming in with my iPhone 2. I was like, I had a court reporter sketch in the back sketching you. He was like, we got this. And I was like, TMZ. But I sent it to Janet. It's not like I sent it to Liz. And I was like, yo. I was like, I think Charlie was like a baby, or she just gave. I was like, I don't think you should blow this up. You know, she has a baby. Janet was like, fuck this, because Janet doesn't know what your sister looks like.
So funny.
So Janet was like, I'm sending it.
So she sent it to Liz. Then Liz said like a LOL. You cheating on me with this chick?
She knew it was your sister.
Yeah, right. She knew. And it's like a picture of me like this. Like walking across the street like this. My mouth was always open. I'm like...
Because I saw your teeth in the feather. That's what I saw. I was like, that's gotta be this motherfucker.
So I was so mad at you. I was like, who is this woman?
Isn't that scary?
Yeah. I was probably like 6 hours sober.
Oh, really? Oh, my God. Jeopardizing your sobriety.
No, that was pretty funny, though. We had a good laugh, actually. Right. But I wasn't...
Anyway,
I
apologize.
I was like, Joanne is scandalous. Yeah. And it felt weird because getting a picture from that angle...
Yeah, that's fucking creepy. Like, who the fuck do I think I am? I was like a serial killer. I was like Ed Kemper in my Saturn. I was like, I'm going to get him.
Yeah, like this, like that.
Real creepy. Meanwhile, I was just copping drugs on 125th, like doing my own dirt. And I had the nerve.
That's really funny. I'm so happy that this is going to have to go as the outro right here, because I'm so happy that you brought that up, because I want to share that. Yeah. All right. For real, we out of here. Thank you for remembering that.
Anytime.
That's a dirtbag story. Peace, we out.
Bye.